Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. It has been a full week since I have been on live, and I decided to go live this morning. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning. I had to do some profession related things first thing this morning. It's like, you know what? As soon as this thing wraps up, I'm going to go live. So I was up at like 4:30 ish. I had a call for about an hour, and now I am on live with you guys. I have no clue whether anybody's going to show up, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We're still going to have a live stream. Now, I say that as people are flowing into the room here. Mr. Comic 89 is in the house. How you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Congratulations. Mr. Comic 89 picked up Amazing Spider-Man #3. Congratulations, brother. That is a good book. I still need to watch your video. I was traveling all this week, and I was definitely not watching anything on YouTube. So I definitely want to go watch your video. But you're here. You're here now, and I want to say congratulations officially. Check them out if you guys get a chance. Bake the Snake is asking, what's shaking? How you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Greek Freak is in the house. How you doing? Matt Woods is in the house. How you doing? Allison, how you doing? Scott is in the house. Kimball, it's good to see you, my friend. Plus E2 is here. Shipping comics to CGC. That's what's up. There you go. Very good. Very good. Herbzilla, how you doing, man? He says, long time no view. Well, you need to correct that, Herbzilla. You need to correct it, brother. No, welcome. Good morning to you. Lost Comic Book Jumping, Discovery Bay. You have been discovered. Monte Vista, Reggie, what did that say? Who made coffee? Brother, I made the coffee. I made the coffee this morning. I make coffee every morning. I set out for my wife. I set up my cup. I set up my wife's cup. I set out the creamer. I set out the sweetener, and I do it every single morning so that when she wakes up, her stuff is right there. That is part of my my dad husband duties, is to hook her up with some coffee. Adam, how you doing? And good morning. What time zone am I in? This right now at this very moment, I am in the Pacific time zone. But I was in Florida this week, and so I'm actually back home right now. Mr. Comic is like, what's going on, brother? I actually got in yesterday. I was here all day yesterday, but I actually got in on Thursday night into Friday at basically 1 a.m. And so yesterday was a whirlwind of activity, catching up on work, catching up on family, all that kind of stuff. So scrolling down, Geek, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Yeah, it is early. It's early. I've been up since about 4:30 ish this morning. I had an early morning professional call that I had to do this morning. As soon as I wrapped up, I was like, forget it. I'm about to jump on. My family typically wakes up pretty early all the time, right? So during the week, I'm typically up at 5 o'clock pretty much every day. And then the kids wake up pretty early, if not at like 5:30 or 6. They're not making it to 7 o'clock. That won't happen. So I literally have no agenda for this chat. There's no agenda. We can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about for a little while. So if you guys have questions, if there's things you want to talk about, throw it up in all caps. Let's have the conversation. As I take another sip of my coffee here, I feel like Comics with Bueller. I feel like Comics with Bueller. Mr. Comic is like, I'm up at 4 Monday through Friday to get ready for work. That's what's up, man. That is early. That is early. How you doing, man? How you doing? It is good to see you. Good to see you. Gotta say, good amount of comic channels. What does this say? Let's put this one up. This is Tommy says, I gotta say, I follow a good amount of comic channels, and I can say without a doubt, I by far appreciate your positivity, kindness, and attitude in your videos. Your videos are always appreciated. Thank you, brother. I definitely appreciate that. I mean, here's the thing. I am, life is stressful, right? Life is stressful from, the work to family, bills, and all the stuff that goes along with those things. When I'm on here and when I think about this hobby, I want to have fun. I want to enjoy myself. I want to give myself time to not worry about things, to not be stressed out. And so I try to practice that when I think about the hobby. And I try to give that back to you guys to give you a little bit of space, man, just to like forget about stuff just for a little bit, you know. For me, that's what comics have always been about, right? I mean, no one has a perfect life, and so growing up, I would use comics to kind of escape reality for a little while. You know, not that I had a bad childhood, because that certainly wasn't it, but I think everybody needs a moment to be, to just be, you know. And you know, I want to have fun and I want to be positive, um, because there's too much negativity. There's too much negativity out there. And to be honest with you, I don't have time for it. Just being honest, I don't have time for it, you know, because a lot of other stuff is going on. And so let me scroll and see what you guys are talking about. Big Remo is like, I'm up at 3 a.m. Goodness gracious, that's early, brother. That is early. You might as well just not go to sleep. What is this? How are you finding the state of Dawn of X? I feel like a couple titles should be ended for the new ones. So here, I was actually going to do a video on this, and I may still do a video. So I'll see whether I can actually remember, because this is almost like 2 weeks ago. I actually killed a couple of titles. I am keeping X-Men. I am keeping Marauders. I am keeping X-Force. I have done away with Excalibur because the mysticism stuff is not my gig. I think I kept Fallen Angels. I think I kept Fallen. Actually, I may have a note around here. I actually was going to do a video and actually wrote out what I was keeping and what I was killing in anticipation. Oh yeah, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. That's my note. That's how I take notes for videos. I just keep it super high level so I can glance at it and keep going, because I make all this stuff up. So I'm keeping X-Men. I am keeping Marauders. I am keeping X-Force. I am doing away with Excalibur, doing away with New Mutants because I'm not enjoying that one. And Jonathan Hickman only was writing the first couple of New Mutants to set a platform for something that he's doing later. So I'm off New Mutants, and I'm kind of half and half on Fallen Angels. I think I'm going to keep Fallen Angels for a little while longer, but that may also be retired. So that is my mix. Keeping X-Men, Marauders, X-Force, 50-50 on Fallen Angels, doing away with. I've already canceled with my LCS, Excalibur and New Mutants. Those two are dead to me. And if you like those, I mean you no offense, because I think that's what's great about this, is that I was committed to reading the first 5 issues of all titles and then evaluating what I was going to do after that. So I gave them a shot. Some actually turned around for me, some didn't. And so those are, that's how I'm going to do it. That's how I'm going to do it. Scrolling down through the comments here, I may have missed some comments. So what is this? Discovery Bay. What's the next comic book going up on the wall? What's coming down? You know, I honestly haven't thought about it, to be honest with you. I have these ideas for what I want to do with the wall, and it's typically like some kind of theme. At one point, it was a red wall, right? At one time, it was an all Amazing Spider-Man. One time, it was everything but Marvel. Then it was an all Marvel wall, which is very easy for me to do. Right now it's like an amalgamation of things back there. That bottom row was a lot of Virgin covers, up until I sold a couple off the wall. There was a little bit of Cosmic up there, and then over there with the Zatanna, the X-Men and the Rick Grimes, that was a continuation of my red wall from before. So I don't know what the next wall is going to be. You know, like I said, I've been traveling and under a great deal of stress over like this last week or so. So I've given it zero thought. But now that I'm back home, I'm going to let my mind go and I'll noodle it, and then I'll come up with something that'll hopefully be cool. I mean, I still kind of want to get this one up on the wall. This is the last one. It's literally been sitting right there since the video that I did. But maybe we'll get that on the wall. I don't know. We'll see. Scrolling down through, up at 4, Child's Play, up at 2 for I can't read that one. Scrolling down through the comments here. What was my favorite non-superhero comic book character? Who is my favorite non-super? So P. Patrick, the challenges, brother. I like spandex. So non-superhero. I don't know. I honestly don't. I don't know, because everything that I read is pretty much a superhero. I don't know how to answer that question, my friend, to be honest with you, because again, I mean, I think that there's characters that I've read. I don't know that they're favorites, like, Lobo. That was the first Western I'd ever read. I enjoyed Lobo. I thought that was really cool. He certainly did not wear spandex back in whatever time at which Westerns were created. I'm reading Philadelphia, and that's definitely not superhero related. There's a character in there, but I don't know that that character is my favorite character, so that's a little bit of a struggle for me. I've read some Independence and things like that I've enjoyed, but I don't know that I would call those favorites. I am a spandex guy, right? I like superheroes, and so my fallback in many cases is always to superheroes because that's what I enjoy. So scrolling down through some of the comments here, and again, we have no agenda for this chat, so we are literally making this up. If you guys have questions and stuff like that, throw it up in all caps, and we can definitely talk about it. There you go. Scott's declaring what his is, and I've seen that rabbit, or I think it's a rabbit, and I've never actually read any of those comics. Never actually read it. Card stock variant. How you doing, brother? It is definitely good to see you. I assume you're a guy, but it is good to see you. Scrolling down through some of the comments again. What is this? Hey, Reggie, reading Amazing Spider-Man Daily Bugle. I like it. I have not read that, but if you're enjoying it, brother, good morning. Hope you are enjoying it. That's very good. Let me see what else you guys are talking about in here. Here we go. Somebody else is declaring their favorite non-super, but the Black Cat is a superhero, isn't she? She is a superhero because she wears spandex. She's a villain, right? But I think that's how I read that question, was around non-spandex, non-hero type of characters. That's how I was reading that one. Maybe I was wrong for that interpretation. Dez, how you doing? If you want to see some dope, if you want to see a dope wall, if you want to see dope photos, check out Dez on Instagram, man. He was congratulating me on my wall back there. Some photos I posted up, but man, his photos put me to shame. John, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you, my friend. Good morning to you. Do I think Kang will be in the MCU? Afraid to sell. So, Jason Ova, how you doing, brother? So I would say to you, I don't know if Kang's going to be in there. There was a lot of speculation about every single character coming to the MCU, and the truth of the matter is that the vast majority of them will not come to the MCU in any time in the future, right? That Kang book, Avengers 8, just ran up in price, right? And so what I would always say is that if Kang is one of your favorite characters, if you like the Avengers, I would not sell the book. I wouldn't sell it, right? If that's your jam, I wouldn't sell it. If you don't have doubles of it, I wouldn't sell it. If your goal is to try to catch some value and catch a spike, that is hard to predict, right? Because there is nothing in my mind that points to Kang coming. In my mind, right? And I am not an expert when it comes to the MCU movies, but there is nothing in my mind that is like Kang is a coming, right? There are other people that may be able to connect some dots, to be able to tell a story. I don't know. Looking through some more of the comments here, scrolling down through the comments here. But Kang would be good in the MCU. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of characters that would definitely be good in the MCU. And the question is, when are they going to come? Right. I think that's one of the great things about speculation is that you can make almost anything up. And if you can tell a good story and connect some dots, it's fun. The thing is, the MCU and Kevin Feige and those guys, they do a really, really good job of keeping us on our toes and making it so that we actually cannot predict what the future holds. I think that is the fun of it for them. And that is certainly the fun of it for us, especially when it comes to speculation, because you never put a time limit on it, right? You never say in the next movie, Kang will appear, but to say Kang is coming to the MCU, eventually, maybe he will. And then you can say, I was right. How you doing, Carter? Welcome to the live stream. He says, he's not my jam. My goal is to make money for Gem 83. So I'll probably sell soon. But yeah, and I was telling somebody this the other day on Instagram, right? And my thing is this, is that I typically have books that are set aside for the purpose of selling. Right. And I tend to sell books in proximity to my time in buying a book. And so what I ended up doing with this particular book is I found the book, I worked a deal and was able to basically put the book on hold. Got the book on hold. I know the price of the book because I've already negotiated. Now it's sale time. And I just start selling stuff to close the gap to be able to go buy that book. And I was able to do it in less than a week. And it worked out quite nicely. The challenge is trying to catch the wave on one book to maximize the revenue and the profit that could be generated, while at the same time trying to find a book to buy on the other side that is at a low. That is a very tricky thing to work with, right? Because you could be trying to maximize the dollar on one side, while at the same time, the book that you're aiming for is actually going up in value, right? And so trying to time those things is a tricky thing. My thing is I sell the book when I sell the book, and I sell it in tight proximity to when I'm buying something else, right? Because the truth of the matter is, with who we are as collectors, if we have money that is in comic book funds, we will probably spend that money. And so I like to do them in tight proximity to minimize the likelihood that I'm going to sell something and then spend it before I can go buy the thing that I really want. So I definitely have a ton of books set aside right now that are for sale. And they will be set aside to be sold until I find the thing that I am trying to buy. And when I find that thing and get that price where I want it to be, then I will sell, like Jim Cramer says. Let me scroll down through some of the comments here. Thoughts on Netflix characters in MCU films? Love it. Because in my mind, it is, if it's a single Marvel universe, I would like to just see there be some fluidity between the movies and the TV shows. I actually dig that, right? And I think that if they do it right, where the quality of the TV show or the streaming service is similar to the quality of the movie, I think it's really cool. But if you can see like great CGI in the movie and not so great CGI in the TV show, that's where there's going to be a little bit of a disconnect. But characters like Daredevil and Luke Cage and the Punisher, to see them go, for example, from a streaming service into a movie and then back again, that would be dope. I think that would definitely be dope. And I'm going to be honest with you, that makes the whole speculation part even trickier, right? Because normally when a movie is about to drop and the character's in a movie and you own that comic, you sell it as the trailer drops because there is heightened awareness of that particular character. People are like, this movie is real. And they're like, I need to go research this character. I need to go get that first appearance, right? So they go at the height of that trailer dropping and they sell it. Now, what happens if that same character is, yes, going to be in that movie, but then also be in the TV show on a regular basis and then back in the movie? Does that change when you choose to sell your book? I think it actually complicates things a little more because we don't know what those patterns might look like, right? You could have a spike when the trailer drops. You could have potentially a spike when the streaming service drops. You could have a spike depending upon what happens in that streaming service. And then maybe something else happens if they go back to another movie and have a huge role. I think it complicates things. So there is a super chat that has been dropped in here. I want to acknowledge that before that thing goes away. Jack B is like, go blue. Jack B, thank you for the super chat, brother. I definitely appreciate it. Welcome to an early morning, no agenda chat with Reggie Collects. Let me see what else you guys are talking about. Jason Over says, thanks. That's good advice. Reggie's the man. I sell my keys as close as possible to the Grail purchase. There you go. Because that money, man, it will dissipate like nobody's business. What is this? Allison says, I completed the original Eternals run and plan on sending many to CGC in the next couple of months. So congrats on that. If you've read the Eternals story, if you're talking about the original, and I think that you are, yeah, you are. It's actually a good read. It doesn't necessarily start off as a good read because I think that he was settling into how to be a writer. The art's fantastic throughout, but I think around issue like 3, 4-ish, there started to be a groove with the writing. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for its historical significance. With him being the writer and the artist on the title, I thoroughly enjoyed it all the way through the annual. So congrats on that. So I have one full run, and then I have a partial full run of Eternals. And I think I have multiple copies of number 1, multiple copies of number 2. So, but congrats on that. Send them in to CGC. Fingers crossed for your grades. So. That Amazing Spider-Man number 3 is amazing. And so what we decided to do is that Mr. Comic and I decided to call it a tie. We were definitely in a sprint to the finish to secure this book. He was in the sprint to finish because he really wanted the book. I was in the sprint because it was the very last book that I needed to complete my run of Amazing Spider-Man. And he and I have decided to basically call it a tie. So shout out to Mr. Comic 89 for securing a really, really nice copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 3. So scrolling down through some of the comments here again, if you guys, Chuck, how you doing, brother? If there are things you guys want to talk about, throw it up in all caps. It actually helps me to actually be able to see. Eugene says, I would spend every last dime from that comic book fund. Man. So here's the cool thing. If you guys haven't watched my video on like how I fund comics, you definitely want to check, or how I fund the hobby, you definitely want to check that video out on YouTube. It's actually, I think, a good video. One of the things that I do is I actually have a debit card for PayPal. And I put all of my money for comics into my PayPal account. And then I use my debit card when I go to the LCS. A lot of the services for my channel are actually paid for through that debit card. All the money goes in, all the money comes out from the same account, and it does not get into family money. That's kind of how I manage it. But what I realized yesterday was that you actually have an ability within PayPal to set aside funds for a specific goal. You guys know I love a goal. So you have the ability to set a goal. You can name the goal and you can set a dollar amount, and then you can move money from your main PayPal account into this goal account. So it's not as visible, right? So you have the ability to spend over here, but not necessarily spend over here. You literally have to transfer the money over. So it's almost like a savings account. And I applaud PayPal for doing something like that. I set a goal for myself in PayPal that I'm not going to tell you about right now, but it is a good goal. It's a good goal, and we'll see whether we can close the gap on that. But Eugene is right. He's like, man, if that money is there, I'm going to spend it, because that's what we do as collectors. That's what we do as collectors. We spend that cash. Johnny Future, my man, Johnny Future is a huge fan of Back to the Future. And he showed me this really cool poster from Back to the Future. I think it was from 1982, 1983, Back to the Future, original poster. It was clean. It was clean. Congrats, brother, on being able to secure that. That was very cool. Very cool. Thank you for sharing that with me the other day. All right. What does this say? Reggie, when selling and buying comics, your total value will fluctuate. Do you adjust your insurance accordingly, or only if it increases in value beyond your current limit? Great question. So what Ariel is asking about here is comic book insurance. And I actually have collectors insurance through Collect Insure. And I've had this insurance, I want to say now, for like 2 years now. And I think I just got my renewal notice just the other day. I need to check. It was as I was leaving town, so I barely paid attention to it. Honestly, what I did is because the collection is ever changing with books that I'm buying, books that I'm selling, it's ever changing. And because of the cost associated with having insurance, in my opinion, is really low, I set a high dollar amount. I set a high dollar amount because I want to make sure that my collection is protected. And because, to be completely honest, the dollar value of what I am keeping is ever increasing, right? I sell a lot of stuff, but the dollar amount of what I keep is ever increasing because I'm buying books, and because of the value of the books that have been bought and are being bought are significant. So I set a high dollar amount for myself, and the amount of money that I pay annually to have that high dollar coverage is minimal. It honestly is minimal in my mind. And you're talking less than key money. You're talking less than key money to protect your entire collection for a nice amount of money. And so I don't adjust mine. And I think I actually set it up so that I want to say maybe it goes up annually as well, but I set a high dollar amount to begin with, and I just keep it up. I think it increases like 1% or something like that. Great question though, brother. Great question about that one. Scrolling down through some of the comments here, a couple of people popping in here. Tina just popped in. How you doing? Scrolling down through the comments here. Again, if you guys have questions, popping up in all caps. Just Pele says, I set the goals with a credit union account. I also pay a small amount of interest. Very good. Very good. Cannot go wrong with a credit union account. They typically have some of the better rates out there. Berg family, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Scrolling down through the comments here. What I will tell you guys is that I actually saw it's Collect Insure. If you do a search on YouTube, Reggie Collects Insurance, you should be able to find it. Actually, let me see if I can do it real quick. See if I can pop this thing open. Go to the YouTubes real quick, and let me see if I can share my screen with you guys. Share my screen. Let me see if I can do this the right way. I think that's the right one. So we're going to search for Reggie Collects Insurance. See if we can pop it up here real quick. So here you go, right here. This is actually an interview that I did with Collectible Insurance right there. Hopefully you guys can see that. Yeah, you can see that. Here's the video right here. This is the one I actually did an interview with the main guy, the director for insurance. And so if you check that out, you should be able to find it. I was just talking about this other video right here. Here's another Protect Your Comics from Loss. This is one of the things that I do to help, understand how much my collection is worth, to figure out how much insurance to take out. And then here was another video that I was just talking about how I manage my personal finances. So if you get a chance, that's also another really good video. One of the things I tell people is if you want to ask me a question about something, if you search for Reggie Collects, whatever that thing is, you probably will find a video. Because I have videos on a lot of things, So, what does it say? I'm debating on doing that, a yearly increase, and think you just sold me on it. It's worth it, man. It's worth it. The dollar amount that you spend for the annual insurances, it's so small. The peace of mind is enough for me, So, I say check it out, decide what you want to do. But brother, I don't think that you're going to go down a bad road if you decide to do that. So Adam is asking a question here. He says, is your family supportive of your collecting habits? Does your wife approve or get annoyed by it? Does she ever join in on the hunt? So lots of really good questions here. So I started collecting comics again at the end of 2017, the beginning of 2018 because of my wife. When I stopped competing competitively as a bodybuilder, she actually encouraged me to get a hobby. She felt like I had too much free time on my hand, and she was like, you need something to do because you need to channel all that energy into something. And so she actually went out and bought me a collection. I actually, right before that, maybe a year or so before that, I actually brought my original childhood collection to our home. And then I didn't really do anything with it, but she bought this collection. She was like, here you go. I need you to start doing something. And so I started collecting all over again. I started, organizing the collection, merging the two collections together, categorizing them and cataloging them. And that got me hooked again. To the point where I was watching videos from other YouTubers, right? Watching videos like Jim Mint and Jim's Comics, ETA Nick, Reaper Tate. I started watching all these videos, sell my comics first thing in the morning. Got me hooked all over, and jumped into the collection because of her. She supports it. She supports it. She does not get annoyed. She actually entertains me sometimes when I want to have a conversation about a comic. She will entertain that discussion for a little bit. She does not enjoy comics. That's not her gig, and that's actually okay. She and I have actually gone on a couple of hunts where I've been able to mix a hunt with something that I want to do and something she wants to do. Like we go to antique stores. There's a little bit of something for each one of us there. And so that's how she chooses to participate. She will not go out on a true comic hunt. She has set foot in comic shops before, but it's not her gig. And being like, babe, it's Saturday. I need to go pick up some comics. Do you want to go? The answer is I'll be here when you get back. Well, yeah. Oh, and I just lost my chat. I just lost the chat, so I have to pop it open. Sorry. My chat has actually gone out, so I'm actually going to pop over real quick to YouTube so I can keep seeing what you guys are talking about. So what does it say? Berg family says, my wife doesn't like comics. Greek Freak is saying, awesome wife. She's a good person. What is this? Matt Wood says, my wife never minded me buying comics. She knows that comics are my hobby. I support her interests as well. She has even read many of the comics. That's awesome. Definitely a cool thing. Scrolling down. Uh, yes, I did. I did indeed marry a good one. There is no doubt about that one. So she's definitely a good person, man. I absolutely love her. What is this? Someone's asking a question here. Reggie, in your experience, is not getting grader notes on anything less than a 9.8. So I want to say that if a book is like a 9.8 or 9.6, you may not get a grader's note. I want to say that like for your 9.4s and below, there should be some kind of notes in there, especially if you are the one that is getting the comic graded. There should be some notes in there if it's like a 9.4, 9.2 and on down. If there's not, I don't know what to do about that. I mean, you may be able to reach out to them to ask them for some notes. I honestly don't know. Now, what I will say is that at a certain point with a certain grade, you can look at the comic and kind of see what the defects are, right? If you're looking at a 5.0, you don't even need a grader note because you can probably look at that book and see a 7, an 8. A lot of times you can look at the books and see exactly what the defects are. It's a little tougher if you're in like, you know, that 9.4, 9.6, 9.8 range. It's a little difficult sometimes to see where the defects are there. So there's a question here about what I'm going after next. I am not going to answer that question. More to come. What would happen? Burke family is asking a question of what would happen if he searched for Reggie Collects Power Rangers. You could do it. You could do it. I don't know what you would find. I don't know what you find. There's actually Power Rangers right here. I have a really cool box featuring some Power Rangers. I'm not a Power Rangers guy. So here's what I'll tell you guys. Yeah, graders notes are free if you are the original submitter. Definitely. Does a 10.0 graded book need graders notes? No, it does not, because everything you need to know is rounded in that 10 right there. Burke family likes that box. So I have a little bit of news that I'm going to partially break right now. I have a little bit of news that I'm partially going to break. And I want to give a huge shout out to all of those of you out there that have supported my channel and leave all the wonderful comments behind that support all the stuff that I do here, because it helps. It's amazing how people that are part of, you know, this industry take note of what happens and what is being said, right? And so I have basically been approached to do a weekly comic book related show. I've been approached to do a weekly comic book show, and we spent some time talking about it, thinking through like, well, what does that look like? And what are the parameters around that? What can I say and not say? And I think that I've earned a certain amount of latitude with certain things, which is really nice, right? Because sometimes people want you to do things, but they want you to stay in these parameters, you know? And I think that I've earned some credibility where people are like, nah, we trust you. Do what you do. Do what you do. And so I have basically agreed to host a weekly comic book related show, and it will not be on my channel. It will be on someone else's channel. And I'll maybe talk about it during the Ready, Set, Go preview show tomorrow. Maybe that's where I'll save it and I'll talk about it there. But it's really cool. It's really cool when people reach out and they're like, hey, we want to work with you. You know, it is very humbling to have that happen. And it's not the first time. And my hope is that it won't be the last, right? But I want to thank you guys for being just a really wonderful part of what I do here, because without you guys, it would be me talking to this microphone and to this camera with nothing coming back. And so I definitely want to say thanks for that. Stay tuned, because I may actually break all the news tomorrow as part of the Ready, Set, Go preview show. So stay tuned for that. So who am I collaborating with? No, It's a brand. It's a brand. It's not an individual. It's not an individual. It is a brand that I'm collaborating with, and I'm actually in the process of having conversations with another brand to represent that brand as well in some capacity. So it's really cool. There will be. I do very little with people. Right, I talk to a lot of people, but I don't do a whole lot with people. But this one is actually with a brand, so it's going to be really cool. So. What is this? Matt Wood says, I honestly don't know how you balance your time at work, time with your family, and time with the channel. You clearly are a very, very hardworking person with great man. I'm gonna tell you, I am very goal oriented, right? I'm very goal oriented. I am very much about staying busy because I like it. I perform better when I have a lot of things to do, right? And so I literally had a call this morning. It was at 6 a.m. Had a call from 6 a.m. to basically 7 a.m. with some professional related stuff. I'm doing this video right now. At 10 o'clock, I have someone coming to my house to talk about a giveaway that we are going to do here on the channel. So somebody's coming here to the house to do something for that. And then I'm going to do some family stuff. And then we have soccer later on. I mean, I like being busy. I really, really do. I really thrive on that, you know. And I also need to play catch up because I have a couple of videos I need to record for you guys that are going to be released next week. So it might be a late night tonight, but that is the price that we pay. That is the price that we pay. So thank you, honorable nephew, brother. I definitely appreciate that. I am not going to give it away. I'm not going to give it away. Time management is key, is what Greek Freak says. He says he keeps himself as busy as he could with 4 jobs. I'm telling you, man. You know, I like to be busy. I like to be busy. Be sure to tell your wife that we all appreciate her, says Tommy, her sacrifices that she makes so that you can do. Brother, thank you. I will definitely tell her. I definitely will tell her. You know, a lot of times, man, when people post a really wonderful comments and stuff like that, I share that stuff with her just so that she can have some perspective into what it is that I do here in the room when the door is closed. You know what I'm saying? I like to share with her that in some way I am part of people's lives, and that's awesome. And I've had some people share some really, really touching stuff with me, and it's humbling to be a part of someone's life on like a daily basis. There are people that literally listen to me every single day en route to work or coming home from work. There are people that listen to me that are having really, really tough things in their life, that appreciate the positivity that I bring, because it does what we talked about at the beginning of this, which is to give them some space to not think about those tough things. That is humbling. It really is humbling, you know? So your energy is what Allison says. There we go. That's what's up. I think she's talking to me. How often do I watch other people on YouTube? It's tough. It's tough. There are some people that I will watch when they flag things for me. Like Mr. Comic will send me something and be like, hey, check out this video. Squirrel Madness will send me things. Hey, check out this video. It is tough for me just because of the point that someone else made about time management, because so often what is happening is I am prepping for my own show and think about what it is that I want to talk about. So I'm doing research on that, or I'm out. Literally, I was answering someone's Instagram questions via video while kicking the ball with my son. Like, it was only like 5 minutes, but you know what I mean? It's like I'm trying to balance stuff. So time is an issue with sitting down, watching people's videos. It's tough. The other part is I try to limit how much I'm exposing myself to other YouTubers because I don't want to end up sounding like them. If you watch too much of something, you will absorb those thoughts that someone else is putting out there. And before you know it, it's coming out of your mouth and you don't even realize it. And then what happens is everybody ends up sounding the same. Everybody ends up sounding the same because everybody's watching everybody, and all we're doing is repeating what the other person said. And so I try to support other people that do videos, but I don't spend a ton of time allowing it in, only because I don't want it to come out. I want to continue trying to be original. I want to continue trying to put out content that is different. And one way that I kind of do that is I kind of isolate myself just a little bit. And it's a little hard, I think, maybe for people to follow, like if they're popping in what I'm talking about, because I cannot put it up on screen. So you have my apologies. My interface is actually out. And so I cannot share things up on screen. Actually, it just popped back up. Just popped back up. So hopefully that answers the question about other YouTubers and what I watch and what I don't watch. Hopefully that addresses it. My wife actually has 2 sisters. Both of them are married. So sorry. Sorry, brother. I will also tell you that my wife and her sisters are extremely feisty people. They are feisty, and I like feisty. So, yeah, they're married, but if they were single, you would have to deal with some feistiness. But, you know, there you go. What does it say? I know you're going to swing that show out of the park. Thank you, super honorable nephew, for that super chat. Man, I'm going to tell you. So the show that we're going to do, I'm going to try to let it be a little organic, right? I don't want to be too formatted in what I do. I think that there will be a format and there will be a structure, but I also want to be a little fluid with it. And it's going to be one of those things that I'm going to take a shot on goal and then I'm going to let it evolve, right? I'm going to take shot on goal and I'm going to let it evolve organically. And I hope that it will be successful. I hope that people will watch it, and rest assured, as I ramp up for this show, I will definitely keep you guys in the loop as to when it debuts and all that kind of stuff. And you guys will definitely be giving me feedback and all that kind of stuff, and we'll make adjustments. We will make adjustments. So, Scott, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you, my friend. It is definitely good to see you. All right, so I think I might need to wrap this thing up, man, because I could go for a long time. But I want to make sure that I give a little room to my man here, John's Comics with Kids. He has a show that he does on Saturday morning with his daughters. And I have a feeling that his show is going to be starting soon. So if you guys get a chance, make sure you check out John's Comics with Kids. I want to wrap it up to give him some room to do his wonderful show that I do enjoy. I actually enjoy watching his show on Saturday morning, and I will sometimes throw it up with my kids. And sometimes I'll be watching and my kids will walk in the room. They'll hear his daughter's voice and recognize that it is a kid's voice and not an adult. And they come over and they're like looking to see what it's all about. So again, if you guys get a chance, check out my man's John's Comics with Kids. All right. So with that, I'm going to wrap this thing up. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me just a little bit. The Ready, Set, Go preview show will be happening tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. There was a week's worth of videos that were dropped over the course of this week. If you guys haven't seen those videos, I definitely want to encourage you to go back and check those out. There's some cool videos that I released this week. There was one that I released yesterday that I definitely want to encourage you to watch. It is a video where there is literally something for everybody in this video. If you like Golden Age, if you like silver, bronze, copper, if you like raw slabs, if you like Marvel, DC, Independence, Valiant, if you like comic books, you want to check out the video that I dropped yesterday, because there's definitely some really cool stuff in there. But as always, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it, I definitely want to encourage you to hit the thumbs up button. If you want to reach out to me, you can do so on Instagram at RegieCollects, or you can send me an email to Regie@RegieCollects.com. Take care.